Stampers, it's Kim with the Basement Bunch Stampers, back for another terrific Tuesday video. And today I want to share with you a cute project that I made for a hostess. I have a private class coming up in a couple of weeks, and I always like to give a little gift to my hostess as a little thank you gift. And so I decided to use the new Woodwords bundle coming out in our annual catalog. This is on page 159 of the annual catalog. And what it looks like, the product that I used, is it includes a stamp set called Woodwords that looks like this. And then there's also some coordinating framelits that go with that. And let me get those out of the package and show you them. And these are the coordinating framelits. So this little framelit right here makes the adorable little crate that I created right here on my project. So this project, let me actually go over it a little bit, is a cute little crate that I created. And it's created with that die that I just showed you. And inside of it, I have included 4 note cards. And then I also made some envelopes with the Wood Textures Designer Series paper, also on that same page of products on 159 in the catalog. Let me bring in the catalog and I'll show you this so you can kind of see it a little bit that way. So there is the stamp set that I used for my project. Down here in the corner is all of the Wood Textures paper that I used. And then over here on the very bottom, you'll kind of see these framelits that I used right here. So the framelits I love because you also get cute little shapes. You get the cute little heart and the coordinating little rooster that I used on these cards, plus the coordinating star. So I didn't actually use these, but I could have because they do coordinate with that stamp set as well. But I actually used the stamp set, and instead I used our stitched framelits and our layering circles framelits to create those cards. So I'm going to actually show you real briefly how I created this project. So you need to cut out 2 of these to be able to put the little crate together. And let me get all these projects out of here. I'll bring them back in a little bit. Isn't that just adorable? I love it. And it holds those 4 note cards in the 4 envelopes perfectly. So I cut this out twice, and you will get 2 shapes that look like this. So here's one, and here's the other. They kind of blend in with my background here, don't they? But again, I'm not going to take the time to actually put this together because it's very simple. But when you cut this out, it provides score lines, and you're just going to fold on the score lines. And then these little tabs is where I also folded. And then you simply put this together. So the 2 bottoms go together. You could almost, cut one off if you wanted to, but I chose not to. These little tabs all get glued up, and it just goes together like that. Very quick, very simple. And I just put adhesive on those little tabs before I glued that in place. And I also put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom of one of these so that when I glued that in there, it would stick a little bit better. So that is how I put together the crate. Very simple, very, very fun and quick. The note card is simply a piece of Very Vanilla, and we now sell, beginning June 1st, we now sell Very Vanilla in 12 by 12, which would make this card, these note cards, so much easier because you'd have no waste. You'd be able to cut your piece of cardstock in half at 6 inches and get you'd get 8 per piece. So I actually did use the 8.5 by 11 and cut this to 3 by 6, and then I scored it at the 3 inches to make the little note cards. And then I'm just going to briefly, because I want to be able to show you how I made those envelopes, and that's what I want to focus a little bit on. But I'm going to show you how quick and simple I put this together. So what I did is I stamped with the flowers. The flowers are included in the stamp set down here. So I stamped that onto the end of the card using Tangerine Tangle. That is the ink that I chose to use. I wanted the rustic look, and I felt this ink pad gave me exactly what I was looking for. And then I used a little piece of scrap from the Wood Textures cardstock left over from cutting out those boxes, those crates. You'll have some leftovers. And this is just cut to a 1/2 inch by 2.5. And I used my scissors to notch the edges. And then this is simply the rooster. I used the rooster and I used the star. And I stamped those both in my Tangerine Tangle. And then I cut them out using the one of the stitched framelits and one of the layering oval or layering circles. So those are the 2 framelits that I used. They layer together. If you haven't checked out the layering circles in the stitched framelits yet, I really encourage you to do so. I use them on a lot of my projects, a lot of my scrapbook pages. And then I did and put those on with the dimensional to raise this up a little bit. And then this, I just used a scrap of Tangerine Tango cardstock. And all I did, let me show you what I did on that, because that is so simple and a good use of scraps. So what I did is I then used Early Espresso ink. And I'm going to stamp the Hello Friend to kind of show you what I did. But this is just a scrap that I had. So I stamped really close to the end. And then all I did was cut that out. That is just freehand cut. I did not do any kind of a cutter, trimmer to make it look all nice and fancy. I just literally cut that out, cut it in half, and glued the 2 words on there. Really good use of scraps, and it kind of coordinates with all of my color schemes. So that is what I did on that, to kind of give you an idea on how I did that. And then once I made these and I put them all into my little crate, I was talking to my daughter who was working on her thank you cards from her confirmation. And I said, what do you think, Natalie? Should I include envelopes? And she said, I think so, Mom. And I thought, you know what? They'll probably fit in there. And so I went to my handy little envelope punch board. And I'm going to show you exactly how I made these envelopes. If you don't have this yet, oh, you need to get it. It's the best $20 ever, because you can make an envelope for anything imaginable that you might want to use an envelope for. So what I did is I already have a couple of them done in advance, already scored and done, but I want to show you how I did this. So how this works is, I'm going to bring this in so you can see it a little bit better. So you have to first figure out what it is that you want to put in an envelope, and I am doing a 3x3 card. So that tells me my paper size has to be 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, with my score line being 2 5/8. And I will explain that score line here in just a moment. So with that being said, I cut a piece of the Woodlands or the Wood Textures cardstock to 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So no matter what, your measurement on this has to be a square piece, because you're making an envelope and you want your envelope square. So it tells me my score line was 2 5/8. So if you look up here on the top, you can see that there's a ruler up here. So I'm going to go to 2 5/8, and I'm going to put my piece of cardstock or piece of paper right up to that, okay? And then what you're going to do, let me put this down and make sure I get it lined up, is you're going to punch, you're going to push here, and then you're going to take your little device. This I pulled out of the end. Let me show you where I pulled this out of. This fits in here, and this is your little score guide, or your little score. And so I punched at the 2 5/8, and then I'm going to put this flush up against here, and I'm going to score, okay? And I'm going to pull that up so you can see what I mean by flush against that. I put it flush against right here, and I scored, okay? Once you do that first score line, you will never ever have to use this again. So you only use that 2 5/8 the first time. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my paper. And so here's where I scored that originally, okay? I'm going to rotate it. And then where that score line is, I'm lining up with this little tip right here. And once I line that up perfectly and make sure it's flush all the way up to here, I'm going to punch and I'm going to score again. I'm going to rotate it, lining up that score line. I'm going to punch and score. And for my final side, oops, let me get that out of there. I didn't punch very hard. I'm trying not to get the table to shake so my camera doesn't shake on all of you. So I apologize. Punch and score, okay? Now, if I wanted to, I could easily round these corners, which for a demonstration today I'm going to. You turn this over, and the back side of this, you put that in and you punch, and it will corner round all of those squares for you. And I did not do that originally in my, get that out of there, in my sample. I was kind of in a hurry to get it done. So then what you do is you fold on all of these score lines that you scored with that envelope punch board. Okay. And then you're just going to glue your envelope together. So I put the 2 sides in first, and I'm going to put a little dab of my fast fuse on there, and then a little dab of fast fuse there. I'm going to bring this up, and there I created a cute little envelope for my little note cards. And this note card will fit perfectly inside that envelope for you to give. Perfect for a friend, perfect for a shower gift, perfect for anything really. So how cute is that? So that is how I made the 4 envelopes. And again, I'm going to show you how they all fit in here. So there's my 4 note cards. And then these are my 4 envelopes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I used different textures of my paper. I did not have them all coordinate. Again, I'm just going for the rustic look. And all I did then was put these 4 envelopes in the back. And it actually holds those note cards right in place for me. How cute is that? Now, if I wanted to, I could also put this in a cute little cello bag. Stampin' Up sells 6x8 cello bags. I could put that inside of a bag and top it off with a piece of ribbon or a piece of burlap. We have burlap ribbon on the same page with all these products. And how cute would that be for an amazing little gift to give to a hostess or a friend, or if you ever have a housewarming party you get invited to, or someone invites you over for dinner, you just want to take a little something with you. This is the perfect gift to do that with. And I absolutely love it. And I can see this crate being used for so many other amazing things, to put candy in as a little party favor, all kinds of things. So anyway, thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it. Make sure you comment on my video for your chance to win, and visit my website at Kim's Basement Bunch for all the details. There will also be a link in the video, in the description of this video, that takes you right to my blog post on this, which will have all kinds of measurements and pictures and more information about my project. Thanks for stopping today, and I hope you appreciated this and liked it as much as I did. Have a great day. Bye.